Hello students, welcome to our new chapter that is on the electrical systems and instruments for the 2 and 3 wheeler technology. Until now we have seen almost all the components of our system for the 2 and 3 wheelers. The last thing that is left to learn about is the electrical systems and the instruments which are required to run those electrical systems in the vehicle. Such as whenever you start the vehicle you are using an electrical system. Right, so let's see those components in a very brief, as you are already learning the systems in the subject that is AEE, Automotive, Electrical and Electronics. The components will be similar to those components in the 2 and 3 wheelers as well. So the first component is the battery. The battery is the main component that supplies the current and the voltages in the 2 wheelers. Whenever we want to run any electrical systems, the battery is an important component in the vehicle. Generally the battery that we use is a lead acid battery in the vehicle, which is being generated as a 12 volt power. Right, the 12 volt battery that we use comprises of the total 6 cells of the batteries. Each cell consists of the 2 electrodes, one positive and one negative electrode. As you might have known that the one electrode that is and lead electrode, that is PB, and the second one is the lead oxide, that is PbO2. The PbO2 electrode is kept as a positive electrode and the normal lead electrode is kept as a negative electrode. Between those electrodes the separators are given. The function of the separator is to keep the space between the positive and the negative electrode so that the short circuit does not happen between the 2 electrodes. Also, the separator provides the porous materials which gives the flow to the electrolytes so that the ions does transfer from the positive electrode to the negative electrode. The number of electrodes are given in the number of cells, and those cells comprises of the total battery that we use in a vehicle. In the figure right now you can see most of the components that we use in this lead acid battery, that is positive electrode, negative electrode, in between them separators are provided. Also all those components that we put in a container, and that container is further sealed. Before sealing the container we provide the electrolyte. Now, which electrolyte we use in this is an H2SO4. Right, the electrolyte quantity is H2SO4, which is soluble in water, that is H2O. The quantity of the H2SO4 will decide the specific gravity of the electrolyte, and that value of the specific gravity gives us the strength of our electrolyte. If the strength of the electrolyte is lower, then the life or then the power which is being generated from the battery can be lower. For that what we do is that again we charge our battery at some interval. Right, there is also 2 terminals which are being given on the top of the battery. One is positive and the second one is negative, which will be connected with our vehicle or whichever 2-wheeler we are using. Also one relief valve is provided. One relief valve is given because whenever the electrolyte or the water is getting outside from that valve, in that valve 2 evaporators will be given which will keep the H2SO4 or the electrolyte back into the container so that we will not lose any electrolyte to the atmosphere. So this is how simply our battery works. The number of electrodes will be in the odd numbers, which means either there will be 15 electrodes or the 17 electrodes. So the question is that there will be one electrode which is either minus or one either positive will be more compared to the other. Generally the positive electrode is one more in the quantity compared to the negative electrode, because the activity around the positive electrode is more compared to the negative electrode, so that it gives us the better operation and better power which is required for our vehicle. So this is how simply our lead acid battery works. Second one is the charging system. In the case of the charging system, how the battery is being charged whenever we are running our vehicle, right? We cannot just keep the battery and keep using the energy from that battery. We have to keep it in the charging condition whenever we are driving as well. For that, we provide an alternator in our vehicle, right? It works on the principle of the generator, that whenever we are running the vehicle, then alternator also rotates with the vehicle as well, and that alternator provides the current to the battery whenever it is required, and also it charges our vehicle. Also, alternator will supply the current to the all the components which is require the electrical supply, such as the headlight, tail lights, horns, etc. Right? Not only battery supplies the power, but alternator will also supply the power whenever we are running our vehicle. Right? So the components which are being used in the two-wheeler, you can see right now in this figure, which gives us the alternator, battery, and the third one is the regulator, or we can also say it as a rectifier. Right? So the function of the regulator is pretty easier, is that if the alternator is currently supplying the current continuously, then what will happen is that at some point the battery will start overcharging. Right? There are times that we don't require to supply the current to the batteries. So what regulator does is that it cuts off the supply of the alternator to our battery whenever it is not required. Right? The regulator will only supply the current to the battery whenever the battery is in the discharged condition and whenever it is required to supply. Also, one more function of the rectifier is that it supplies a direct current which is being required for the battery. The alternator generates an alternating current. That alternating current is converted to the direct current, which is DC current, and that DC is supplied to our battery with the help of the rectifier. So this is simply our charging system. Let's see the circuit of our charging system. In the case of the circuit of the charging system, you can see that the battery, the vehicle load which uses the power of the battery or the alternator, all those things are mainly connected in between with the rectifier or the regulator. Right? The alternator is given to the right side and the battery is shown on the left side. So whenever we are running our vehicle, the alternator also rotates with it, and that alternator supplies the current back to the battery whenever required, and it keeps the battery in the charging condition because of the generation principle. Right? So this is how the charging system of the two-wheelers and the three-wheelers works in a simple manner. Next is the ignition system. Right? There are three types of ignition system which are generally used in the vehicle. The first one that we will see is the magneto ignition system. Now the working principle of all the three are same. The only difference is how the first ignition spark is generated. Right? In this case, one magneto or one rotor is used which supplies the current to the spark plug, which gives us the ignition. Right? In case of the magneto ignition system, you can see that simple arrangement or simple circuit is given in which the flywheel magneto is given. Whenever we use an external supply or such as a kickstart mechanism, so whenever we provide the kick, then the magneto will rotate. Because of the rotation of the magneto, the magnetic field will be generated. That magnetic field will be further transmitted to the primary winding, which will be further connected in our circuit. In this system, there will also be primary and secondary winding as well. The difference between those two, you might have remembered, is the number of windings. The number of windings in the secondary winding will be way much more than the primary winding. At that point we are getting a voltage amplification, right? The voltage which is required for the spark plug ignition is generally around 11,000 to 22,000. So to convert the 12 volt to the 11,000 volts, we require an amplification of the voltage, and that is being done by the help of the primary and the secondary windings. So this is how the current is supplied by amplifying the voltage. It is further connected with the capacitor. The capacitor gives us the backflow of the current, and from that the current amplification is obtained, and that current is further supplied with the help of the spark plug. The spark plug gives us the voltage which is required for the ignition starting of our vehicle. So in the magneto-ignition system, the number of rotating components is more compared to the normal ignition systems, right? So in the next lecture we will see other ignition type of the systems, and we will further see other components of the ignition system. Until then, thank you so much.